Hello. This is crazy. I've never done one of these before. Can you guys hear me? Oh my goodness, people are joining. This is crazy. Can someone send me a message letting me know if you can hear me? This is my first Periscope. Yay! Oh, then focus, you're here. Hey. Okay, so you guys can hear me? Yeah? Hey. Oh, hey from Cleveland. Oh, you guys can hear me. Awesome. Okay. Cleveland, Midwest. I was born in Cleveland and grew up in Detroit, so I know all about it. But I'm in Dallas now. So, hey, y'all. Welcome to my first Periscope. I'm like, oh my goodness. This is so cool. I've been stalking people on Periscope all week, and I'm like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I sent out a message to my email list, posted this on Instagram and stuff. So I guess we rolling. Hey, for Women to Women, love y'all. Welcome. So today's Periscope and my first Periscope ever. Thank you guys for the hearts. This is cool. So keep double tapping the screen and invite your friends. I'm actually not sure how you can invite your friends. Maybe I should invite my friends too. But yeah, I don't know if you swipe or yeah, I think you swipe and then you hit something and it allows you to invite your friends. Not sure how to do it. Swipe left. Thank you, guys. Okay, Texture Talk. Y'all are like pros. All right. Swipe left and hit share to invite your friends to join me. All right, let's get into it. So this Periscope is going to be about this new movement that I've stumbled on and inadvertently have started called Grace Over Grind. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Courtney. I run the brand, blog, and community, thinkandgrowchick.com. And I'm really passionate about helping women achieve more in their business life, feel more satisfied in their bank account, and really just achieve all their life goals. So as the name, as you can tell, Think and Grow Chick is inspired by a book I first read in college, Think and Grow Rich, which taught me the importance and the power of goal setting. So I'm super big on helping women, oh, and some men too. Hey, Joseph. Thanks for supporting me. Just helping everybody, I guess. But, I do have a heart for women, helping everybody achieve their goals. And for me, this year was a big year for me because I decided to really step out with Think and Grow Chick and pivot it from just a blog to an actual business because I'm working really hard to leave my full-time job so I can do this full-time because I just love it so much. And so with that, I am a natural, I know, and girl, this is on its last leg. So I had my hair flat ironed recently, and I'll actually talk about that as we get into the chat, but it needs to be washed and my curls need to come back ASAP. So next time you see me, I'll be natural. But yeah, I straighten my hair like once a year or whatever. So you're seeing something really that you won't see very often. But as I was saying, as I was transitioning my brand to become a business, I got on my grind because that's what everyone said I needed to do. I get on Instagram and people are like, don't sleep. If you're sleeping more than 3 hours a day, then you're doing it wrong. And, I was just hustling, just, okay, I got to find clients, got to create more products, got to do this, got to blog, got to be online all the time. And I'm not even a person that likes to stay up late, but I was staying up late. I was getting up super early, like 4:30 a.m., just so I could get a lot of stuff done before I had to go into my job. And it was just getting out of control. And the crazy thing is, like, this grind mentality, it's very seductive because at first you will see results. So for me, I was making book sales, people were coming to the events that I was doing, like stuff was happening, so it was like successful. But in my personal life, I just felt like I was completely burned out, and I was like, if this is success, like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to sustain this because this pace is just crazy. And then also I started to feel really resentful about the things that I was doing because at this stage in my life, like, I'm a newlywed, my husband and I just bought a house like 3 months ago. So I'm hitting all these milestones in my life, and I felt like I was being forced to choose from really just sitting in the milestone and just enjoying the space as, oh, I'm a newlywed, oh, this is a new house, let's have some fun and decorate it and go shopping for for couches and stuff. I felt like I didn't even have the time to do that, or to really be invested in all the wonderful things that were happening around me that weren't related to business, because I felt like, oh, I had to grind if I wanted to make things happen. And, you know, it's just a big message that our society really promotes. So not too long ago, a few weeks ago, I got up one Saturday morning, and my normal routine, because I don't have to go to work on Saturday, is to get up pretty early on a Saturday, like 6 a.m. or whatever, come into my little office and hit the grind, you know, start doing the work so that I can just get as much done by Sunday evening until Monday comes and I do it all over again. And, you know, I woke up at my normal time at 6 something, and I remember just opening my eyes and looking at the ceiling, and y'all, I could not get out of bed. Like, I couldn't do it. Something inside me was like, this has got to stop. You are not going to continue on this path. And so I try to be very introspective about what's going on with me, because I'm big on not being a procrastinator and not self-sabotaging, and I'm always checking myself to see, okay, what's going on? Am I just being crazy? And so one part of me was like, oh my goodness, I'm being insane. I'm self-sabotaging. I have all this stuff that I need to get done, and I'm not getting up. But then the other part of me was like, no, this is serious. You should really pay attention to this. So I just decided that day that I was just going to take the day off and really check in with myself and be introspective. And I just found that I was just pushing myself too hard, and I started to ask questions like, is this really necessary? In order to succeed, do you truly have to grind it out, or is there a better way? And I wasn't sure that there was a better way, but I just took the leap of faith and just made the commitment that, you know, I was just gonna do it my way and then just let the chips fall where they may. And so so recently I wrote a blog post that has received a lot of I don't know, just a lot of people sending me messages saying how much you can relate, which was really, really inspiring to me, because I felt that when I put out that blog post, I was like bracing myself for some pushback. I know people love their grind, they love their Instagram posts that talk about, you know, how much they don't sleep and stuff. And so I just knew that people are going to be like, she's crazy, she doesn't know what she's talking about. But to receive the, so many, I don't know, just people just being open and sharing, and I was just stunned. So this is definitely a conversation that I want to continue. And so in that post, I talk about why it's really important. Oh, my blog is thinkandgrowchick.com. So thinkandgrowchick.com. So thank you guys. I'm glad that you really enjoyed the post. So I wanted to talk to you today about some of the ways that I'm actually experiencing the whole grace over grind in my life. You know, so I talked about why it was really important in that post, but I think it's a big deal to let you know some things that you can do, so that if you relate to this and you're like, yeah, I'm ready to get off the grind too, I'm kind of done with it, then you can start putting these things into practice. So the first thing that I did that day when I was checking into myself, and now I continue to check in with myself, is I decided how I wanted to feel. And I know that sounds kind of silly or like woo-woo or like out there, like, what do you mean how you want to feel? Like, don't you want to feel successful? Don't you want to reach your goals? And yeah, I wanted to do that, but I wanted to feel a certain way about it. And I noticed for myself, I started to feel really haggard. Like, that's the word that I kept using. I just felt run down, and like I didn't have time to take care of myself because I wasn't engaging into any self-care. I just didn't feel put together, you know, as a woman. Like, I wasn't spending a lot of time attending to the way that I look or getting dressed, or because I just felt like I didn't have time to do it. I was, you know, going to the gym and stuff like that and trying to eat healthy, but it was just going through the motions. I just wasn't spending a lot of time. So I wanted to feel put together. I wanted to feel focused. I wanted to feel creative. I wanted to feel like there was some electricity happening in my life, that I had some personal power, that, you know, I had a pep in my step. I wanted to have a certain energy that wasn't present when I was grinding it out. So literally in my journal, I just started writing the things that I wanted to feel, and I was just super open with myself. I was like, I want to feel feminine like a woman. I don't want to feel like I'm just this crazy haggard person who's just grinding it out to, you know, grinding herself into like a little ball. I wanted to feel all these wonderful things. So I would recommend that you guys, you know, if you're taking notes or whatever, you're just making mental notes about things that you want to do, just start with, how do you want to feel? That's okay. how you want to feel, and then commit to that. Like whatever you come up with, or however long it takes, or you're just kind of journaling it all out, commit to the fact that your journey to success. I'm so glad that you needed to hear this, so that people are resonating with this. Whatever it is that you decide that you need to feel. Yes, this is my first scope. Can you believe it? I feel crazy. But however you decide that you need to feel, you need to commit to that, because that is your definition of success. Too often we think success is just like the end goal, or whatever that outcome is. Oh, I'm successful when I can quit my job. Oh, I'm successful when I can make, ever many $1,000s a month. Oh, I'm successful when so many people read my blog or follow me on Periscope, or even, when I lose this amount of weight, or when I receive my master's program at school, or whatever it is that your goal is. I'm not saying let go of the outcome, obviously. It's really important that you work towards that, but the feeling has to go in tandem with what it is that you want. The journey, right, is so important. So decide not only how you want to feel, but that feeling has to be non-negotiable for you, so that going forward, when you find yourself on the journey, you're starting to feel out of like, I don't really feel put together, I don't really feel feminine, I don't feel creative, I don't feel powerful, then girlfriend, you're not succeeding. So stop, pause, and get back to however it is that you want to feel. So that was the first thing for me. Also, I decided to focus on what I call RGAs. And it's funny because RGAs, I guess in the business world or entrepreneurship, or a lot of guys talk about this, it just means like revenue generating activities. So they're like, oh, if it's not a revenue generating activity, like you're not supposed to be focusing on it. So for me, that kind of put me in a frantic, like, oh, I need to hustle it up, I need to be making more money and all that stuff, reading all these business books. But now I like to think of RGAs not as revenue generating activities, but results generating activities. So going back to how you want to feel, look at the activities that you're doing and then see what results they're giving you. And the results, not just, oh, they're leading you closer to whatever outcome you say that you want to do, but that they're giving you the feeling that you said that you want to feel, right? So now your feelings are non-negotiable. What activities provide you that feeling? And I think that's really important to say, because a lot of the private messages that I was getting from people who were like, oh, your post really inspired me. A lot of people felt like they had to get on the grind because so-and-so said, or their favorite guru said that they had to do all these different things that didn't really jive with who they were, but they were just like, oh, if I don't do them, then I'm not going to be able to reach my goal. So a great check-in for that is like, is that a results generating activity? Meaning, is that going to get you not only the result, the outcome that you're seeking, but the feeling that you said is, non-negotiable for you to feel? If it's an activity that's not going to get you that, then you don't need to be doing it. Okay. So, and that kills a lot of this like overwhelm on your to-do list too. So when I started to focus in on that, I found that I actually had a lot less than I needed to be doing. So all of that running around that I was doing was for stuff that I didn't even need to be doing, which is like, go figure, right? But that's what this is about. It's about a learning experience. So first one, decide how you want to feel. Second one, focus on your results generating activities. Results meaning not just outcome all the time. Oh, is this going to help me quit my job or lose weight or whatever? But is this going to bring you the feeling that you said that you wanted to feel? And then speaking of feeling and results generating activities, the third thing that I focused on was facing my fears. And this was a big one because so much of my grind was just driven by fears that I didn't even know that I had, and fears that others were placing on me. And I think that a really great activity too is, once you think about the things that you're fearful of that are causing you to grind, go ahead and think about where you got them from. Was it a family member, a friend, like something somebody said to you, or something that you got somewhere that you kind of internalized, and just figure out how to let that go. And what I mean by that is when I first graduated from school, I think I was out of school like a year or two or whatever, and I got my job and I was doing fine. And I remembered calling an old mentor of mine when I was in college, and I'm still kind of close with him, but I was really close with him in school, and he really helped me out back in DC. And so I was just calling him to give him an update of my life, and he's like, oh, how's the job going, da-da-da, and I'm really excited, like, yeah, and I'm getting married, and this is going to be so exciting. And I remember just the reaction he gave me on the other end of the phone. He was like, you're getting married? Like, I thought he said something to the effect of, well, I didn't expect you to get married until you were in your 30s. I thought you were like this go-getting woman who was, going to take over the world and start a business and stuff. And, for you to call me and tell me basically that you're getting married in your 20s, he was like, what are you doing? And so I remember being so disappointed because I was like, seriously? Like, you were my mentor in school. Like, I thought that he of all people would have been really happy for me, but the angle that he was coming after was, oh, I know you and your goals, and you said that you wanted these things, so to see that you are doing something, yes, Howard University, to see that you were doing something that in his mind was not compatible, to be married in your 20s, but whatever, to start a business or take over the world, and those two things weren't compatible to him. So, but that's his hang up, that's not my hang up. So I remember thinking at the time, like, okay, well, he's just really weird. I'm not sure why he had that reaction, and just thinking that I was still going to pursue my goals anyway, but I didn't realize that I still had a fear. I was hanging on to like, oh, well, now that I'm not single or I'm married and I have a husband I have to focus on and pay attention to, then this is like a handicap of mine, and like, heaven forbid, if we have kids or something, am I going to be able to still go after my dreams? So part of that drive, and it never came to the surface until I really took the time to sit down with myself, but part of that drive, like grinding myself and throwing myself into the ground, was I was trying to do things so quickly. I was not allowing myself to have a graceful journey, allowing things to happen in God's timing. Like, there was no room for grace in my journey, because I was like, no, I have to make this happen as soon as possible, because if anything happens on the path, then I'm going to be in trouble. And part of that fear was something that somebody else placed in me. Like, I never thought in a million years that being married would be a handicap, but it wasn't until I let someone else say that to me, and then suddenly I was internalizing that fear, and it's like, that's not even my fear. So I had to really sit with myself, and it was, lots of fears, but what things was I internalizing that I had nothing to do with, that I was carrying, that was allowing me to get on the grind and not trust the process? So I had to, kind of release that and be like, well, I forgive him for that. That's fine. I'm releasing that, but that's not my fear. So I don't have to push myself so hard. I'm willing to let that go. And it could be all kinds of things, like fears with money. I don't know if you grew up in a single parent household, or you saw your mom had to grind and hustle, as a single parent. And so even if you aren't a single parent, or you are a single parent, or whatever your situation is, you'll just find that sometimes you bring with you stuff that has nothing to do with you, but things that other people said or things that other people have modeled, and you kind of internalize that as your fear, and now you're trying to hustle it out. So number 3, face your fears and really start to, I'm glad you like the scope. Really start to think about what you can release so that you can be free to operate on your own pace, and you can be free that, these fears aren't going to consume you. And speaking of, money fears, actually that was the 4th thing that I addressed. I started to address my money mindset. And I started to focus on not just financial fears, but financial modeling and financial blocks that were modeled for me when I was younger, that allowed me to think that I had to operate this way. And what I mean by that is, really the only entrepreneur that I saw growing up was my stepdad. And so he had a job where he did like contracting in Detroit, and was always like meeting with like the big automakers and all these different companies, and it was always kind of like winking the guy like, hey, how you doing? All this kind of like hustling and smoozing, doing all these different things, and it was always a ton of activity. And so I started to think, maybe I was modeling that because that's all I saw. I just subconsciously thought that being an entrepreneur meant that there had to be a constant amount of activity. I was involved here in Dallas in a lot of different like networking groups and organizations, and no one told me, you have to be in these networking groups if you want to be successful. But these are just things that I just placed on myself, because I just assumed that if you wanted to be an entrepreneur and you wanted to make a lot of money, then you needed to like get out there and meet this many people.
And I'm not saying that you shouldn't meet people or that you shouldn't put yourself out there, but again, it goes back to internalizing the stories that were either explicitly told or that you saw kind of implicitly, and then looking at that and seeing how that is driving your grind. So I'm like, dang, I'm operating like my stepdad. Like we have totally different stories. We're on totally different journeys. Our businesses are totally different. What would have been normal for him or might have been necessary for him is not necessary for me. So I'm, again, free to evaluate what I got going on, so I don't have to feel like, oh, I'm not going to earn any money if I don't do things the way he does things. So it was just that, just all kind of stuff, just really just addressing those money blocks of like how I felt about my ability to earn money, and was it driving this relentless thing to grind all the time. So hopefully you guys relate to that. So that's the fourth one. So to recap, I decided how I wanted to feel. I identified my results generating activities. I faced my fears, and the fears that weren't even mine, but that others have had placed on me and that I had internalized. I addressed my money mindset. And then the fifth one that I'll leave you guys with today is I finally allowed it to be easy. And this is the best one, the one that this little mantra I've been saying to myself like over and over again all day, even as I was preparing for this Periscope. Literally now I tell myself, if it's hard, make it easy. Like, it's allowed to be easy. That sounds really silly, but it's this idea of like hard work. Well, the only way that you can get things done is if it's, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't put effort and energy. Most of the things that I do take time. It takes a lot of effort and energy. Hello, sweet Olivia's blog. But this idea that things have to be difficult and that you have to like strain and grit your teeth and do all that, that's not a requirement to succeed. It doesn't have to be painful in order for it to work, right? And so now I'm constantly telling myself, if it's hard, make it easier. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If it's something as simple as writing a blog post and I'm beating my head up against the wall for 3 hours and the words aren't coming right, make it easy. Like, record myself talking, or take a break, take a walk, or do whatever you have to do to make your situation easier so that you can move forward. Because a lot of the times we're grinding is because we're pushing through something that is not working. And that's another dangerous thing of the grind. People kind of internalize like, oh, the grind is that if it's not working, then you're just supposed to grind it even harder, and that it needs to be a bigger struggle, and that you need to really, really struggle and just kind of like push it out. And it's like, no, you're smarter than that. Be smart. And then as women, and I know we have some, men listening, so that's cool, but, use your intuition. Be intuitive about, something is not jiving here. Something is not working for me. And I was so grateful that morning, that Saturday, when I couldn't get out of bed and I didn't know what was going on, that was an intuitive gut feel that was like, Courtney, this is not going to work. Like, you can't keep living your life this way. You can't keep pursuing this. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know that there was even a problem, but it was just something deep inside of me that was like, no. And so if I would have done the grind mentality, I would have just pushed past that, and I never would have had the opportunity to really delve deep into what was happening with me. So I'm saying for you, whatever you're working on, or you find yourself grinding and it's too hard, it is allowed to be easy. It is not a requirement that it has to be difficult in order for you to succeed and for you to push past it. And this goes beyond even just your business, in terms of just having the mental capacity, just freeing up the space in your life. So for me, like I said, I get my hair straightened once a year or whatever, and I hadn't planned on getting it straightened, but I just decided, I was like, you know what, there's some other things I want to focus on this week, so I'm just going to go ahead and get my hair blown out so I don't have to think about it, and that, it's allowed to be easy. If it normally takes me an hour or so to do my hair because it's naturally curly and I have to detangle it, well, whatever, spend the $50 and go get it blown out and then don't think about it for the rest of the week. It's allowed to be easy. I hired a housekeeper, to come last week because I was just like, I got other stuff to do. It's allowed to be easy. I don't have to, why do I have to struggle cleaning all this stuff up when I could spend $60 and have someone, just straighten up the house so I don't have to think about it. So just little things like that. If last week I went to the grocery store and instead of, I got to figure out meal plans, we got to look at the sales and I got to organize all this stuff, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go to the Hot Bar, Whole Foods Hot Bar. They have these healthy pre-made meals with salmon and green beans and mashed potatoes. Just buy 5 of those and just use that for the week. Just little things. So yes, outsourcing, just whatever you have to do in your life in order to move forward, don't think that it always has to be a grind or that you're like a bad person if, you're making it easy on yourself. It's allowed to be easy. No one said it had to be hard. Or maybe people are saying it has to be hard, but that's not true. It doesn't have to be hard. So, I want to now leave some time to answer questions, but because I was so excited about this conversation and this Grace Over Grind movement, y'all know I do the most. So, because this is my first my first Periscope, and I wanted to celebrate all of you who joined me, I created this free Grace Over Grind guide. I don't know if you can see this, but it's basically, it's 11 page. Not only is this like a little workbook guide that I did, but it also comes with audio that I recorded to walk you through the different activities. So if you want to go ahead and just, download this in celebration of my first Periscope, you can go to my website. It's thinkandgrowchick.com/grace, because this is all about giving yourself more grace in your business and what you're doing. So let me see if I can pull it up on my computer, and then you guys can see the link for it. And can go download it and check it out. But yeah, I was really excited about this Periscope and this conversation. Okay, I think if I double tap the screen, can you see that? So yeah, if you just go to thinkandgrowchick.com/grace, then yeah, that's it. Then you'll be able to go ahead and pick up this little guide and let me know what you think. It was a lot of fun putting together, and then I wanted to be there with you to walk you through it, so I created a little audio to go with it. Yes, purple is one of my brand colors, purple and green. So I guess I'll stay for a second if anyone has any questions about anything that I said, but this is my first Periscope. Anybody else have anything? You're welcome. Thank you. You're so welcome, Allison. I'm glad you really enjoyed this. Thanks, guys. I'll be back with the natural. Don't worry. Next Periscope, the fro will be back in full effect. So this was a lot of fun. And all right, if there's no more. Oh, it made me do the Periscope. I've been stalking people on Periscope lately and saw that it just seemed like a lot of fun. And I already do podcasts. Hey, Charmaine, guys, that's my accountability partner. Follow her at Charnick. Yeah, we meet every single week to do all this. The audio I use, I have a Yeti microphone, and I just recorded into QuickTime to do the audio for the guidebook. So that's it, guys. I'll see you next time. I have a whole lot of Periscope topics that I want to talk about. I am going to put them on iTunes. I've just been lazy about that. So my podcast right now is on SoundCloud. So if you go to soundcloud.com/thinkandgrowchick, you'll be able to see all the podcasts that I've done to date. But I'm getting ready to set up the feed so that it'll start automatically going to iTunes, because people have been asking me about that. And that's definitely something that I need to do. So thank you, lovelies, for all the wonderful hearts. Let's do some more hearts on the way out. Let's go out with a bang. Thank you, Ryan Kettering. I definitely will. And until next time, I'll see you on my next scope. Bye.